In a world filled with superpowers, our main protagonist, Yu Odasaka, lives a normal life as a weak, scrawny loser. But his life drastically changes as he finds out that he has a super overpowered ability to take over the world. So without any disturbance, let's start the video. At first, it seems like Yu Odasaka was just an ordinary student who was handsome and clever, as he got a perfect score on Yonemori High School's entrance examination. People don't know that he has the ability to possess other people for 5 seconds. However, Yu often used this ability for wrongful things such as cheating on exams, revenge, and even perverted things. He even used it to enter an elite high school and to date a popular girl in the school named Yumi Shora Nayagi, whom he saved after possessing the truck driver to hit her. He didn't know that someone was filming his actions. One time, he was called by the student council president to repeat the exam as he could be cheated. He again used his power, but he failed as the man that he possessed didn't have the answer key. The president of Hashinami Academy, Nao Tamori, appeared and confronted him surprisingly about his ability. He ran away. But Jijiro Takajo, who has the ability to teleport, caught him. He discovered that Tamori had an invincible ability but could only use it on one person. He also discovered that their abilities were incomplete and would vanish once adolescence ended. Tamori asked him and his sister to transfer to Hashinami Academy. As well as that, he would join the student council. Together with her sister, they moved to a new and big place to live, and the student council helped them to arrange their things. Yumi had already dumped him, as he was already far from her. At night, he had a dream about the mysterious guy eating with them. Afterwards, Ayumi gave him a lunchbox that had an omelet with pizza sauce which he hated. The student council welcomed him into the school and he discovered that he would earn money by helping the student council. Also, he found out that the work of the student council was to find, protect, or even threaten people who had the power to not use it again. As the scientists continuously hunted them for the experiments, Yu was in the same class as Tamori and Takajo. He became friends with Takajo, who used his teleportation ability to pick up food, but was always injured as a result. On the other hand, Tamori has no friends. Later, they went to the student council office because Tamori said that the helper, who was Kumagami, who could identify power wielders by soaking in water, would come to the office. The power wielder that they needed to find has an ability to mine film. After the battle with Yuto, the sophomore who has an ability to mine film, and uses it in the wrong ways to earn money, they successfully encouraged him to not use the ability anymore as the scientists may find it. Yu also knew the life experiences of Tamori, with his music-loving brother in the hands of the scientists. They went to see Tamori's brother, who was in an unstable mental state because of what he had experienced with cruel scientists. Tamori also thanked the men who helped them, and let his brother be treated in the hospital for free. When he went home and ate the curry with pizza sauce made by Ayumi, he realized that his sister also had the ability and may also have experienced what Tamori endured. Their next mission was to find the power wielder who has the ability of spiritualism, allowing dead individuals to possess the user's body and pyrokinesis. They found out that the power wielder was Yusu Nishimori, also known as Yusurin, a popular idol in Japan. She was being chased by the man, so she was in big trouble. Yusu also has a dead sister named Misa, who has the power of pyrokinesis. Misa could control and possess Yusa's body without her sister knowing. Yusa was in big trouble because she discovered that the producer of Teotov embezzled the company funds and had connections to dangerous crowds. Yusa got the evidence, which was the phone, and the producer hunted her down. The student council, together with Yusa and Mise's friends, made a plan to threaten the producer with their abilities. They became successful, and Yusu transferred to their school and joined the student council. Most of the students, including Takajo, were excited as they were with Yusu. Following that, they gathered as Kumagami predicted, another power wielder with telekinesis. The target power wielder was Arifumi, a baseball player at Kanai Academy. He often used his power to successfully throw the knuckleball. Arifumi didn't listen to them, so, to settle things, Tamori challenged them to a baseball match. When Kanai Academy wins, the student council would not bother Arifumi again. But if the baseball team of Hashinami Academy wins, he would stop using his ability. The game happened on Sunday at 03:00 p.m. At first, the student council team didn't score until they used their abilities. Unexpectedly, Hashinami Academy won, so Arifumi would not use his ability again. Before they went home, Yu possessed Arifumi, as what Tamori commanded. The next day some girls picked up and beat Tamori for revenge. Yu followed them, but didn't help as Takajo advised him not to. Kumagami foresaw the new power wielder, and found out that the ability was flying. Through the information that Tamori discovered about the power wielder, who has the ability to fly, also known as the flying humanoid of Japan, the whole student council prepared things for a camp at the mountain where the power wielder practiced most of the time. They grilled some corn and pork as well as built the tent. The teams also exchanged schedules for guarding their places and waiting for the power wielder. Yu also almost fell into the well. Afterwards, while Yusa and Takajo were playing video games, Yu followed Tamori, who was listening to her favorite band, which was the Jiend on the music player. They both understood the vast and lonely song of the blind composer. Later on, the girls took over guarding while the boys rested. Yu again dreamt of the mysterious guy who was eating with them in Ayumi. Afterwards, a man appeared and was later found to be the one who had the flying ability. When he fell into the trapped well and flew away, Yu possessed him to stop flying. Finally, they successfully caught him and stopped him from using his ability for protection against the cruel scientists. When they got home, Yu discovered that Ayumi had a cold. Ayumi was still sick, so Yu sent a sick leave notice to her teacher. The next power wielder that they find has the ability to collapse. Moreover, the user's location was in the condo complex that is attached to the academy. Yu presumed that the power wielder was the power wielder. So the student council went to the condominium to visit Ayumi, except for Takajo, who got knocked out by Tamori, and decided to not include him for the visit as he might create chaos. They first went to the convenience store to buy porridge soup. Yusu also wore his mask to not cause shock to Ayumi, as she got a nosebleed when it happened. When they went to the condominium, Ayumi's friends visited her, including Koinasha, the mysterious girl. As expected, Ayumi was so happy, and even got a nosebleed when she saw Yusu. She also suspected her brother and Tamori of having a romantic relationship. Following the visit, Tamori advised Yu to keep an eye out for Ayumi, because she might have a collapse ability. Ayumi also told his dream of the ground that was collapsing. The next day, Yu advised Ayumi not to go to school despite the fact that she was already good, but Ayumi disobeyed it. The student council found it out, and Tamori got a bad feeling about it, so they went to Ayumi's school. Oikawa, the boy who was in love with Ayumi, still asked her for a date even though she had already turned him down. The class representative blocked Oikawa and let Ayumi flee. While running, she came across Koinasha, who was envious of her because Oikawa gave her the attention she wanted. When Koinasha would hurt Ayumi with the knife, Ayumi used her collapse ability. The building they were in had collapsed. Yu tried to find her, but he got knocked down by the falling debris. Sadly, Ayumi died. Yu has already recovered after being treated in the hospital. However, his life became miserable, as he didn't have the will to life. He had regret, as he didn't repay Ayumi's kindness, and just ignored the last omelet rice she made for him. He spent his days eating cups of ramen and watching television. Shiranayagi, the girl who dumped him, also came to help him, but he just ignored her. As well as Yusu and Takijo, he had moved around and had intentionally forgotten about the student council. He had an unhealthy lifestyle like eating pizza and street foods, as well as playing video games for entertainment. He even had fights with the gangs. When he would try to use some illegal thing, Tamori would appear and beat him. He discovered that Tamori was with him from the start, and she just used her invincibility power on him. Tamori promised to leave him alone if he would just bite into the food that she was going to cook. Yu agreed. Tamori cooked an omelet with Yu's mother's recipe. Yu remembered Ayumi and ate all the food. Because he ate all this and not just one bite him to save his humanity and go back to the student council. Fortunately, he agreed. The whole class welcomed him. When we went back to the school after lunch, the student council went to the office to watch the new music video by Yusa. Also, Tamori had 2 tickets to the Jiend concert, and she asked one of them to accompany her. Among them, Yu was the one who would go with her. While walking home, Yu encountered a blind woman who later introduced herself as Sala Shane, the lead singer of Jiend. He accompanied her to eat some Hiroshima yaki. Sala felt the agony in his breath and voice, so she let him tell the reason for his sadness. Yu told her about the death of Ayumi, and she initiated putting incense on Ayumi's burial. Tamori didn't come when Yu said that he was with Sala, but she agreed to let her brother meet the lead singer. Surprisingly, Kazuki became better when he heard Sala's voice, and he unexpectedly remembered his sister Tamori. Afterwards, Sala said goodbye and Tamori called to thank him. The next day, Tamori and Yu were already at the concert. They brought souvenirs and watched the band together. In the midst of the concert, Yu got triggered by the new song by ZHIEND, entitled Trigger. He collapsed and had a dream about him and Ayumi who were in the laboratory. Ayumi was alive and listening to Hello Hello music while he was listening to Zheng. Moreover, they have a brother named Shunzuk. He also met Kumagabi and the other power wielders. Ayumi was taken by the scientist for the experiment while Yu was imprisoned. When he woke up, half of the facility had been destroyed. As Ayumi used her collapse ability, some power wielders helped him go to Shunsuke and save Ayumi. In that dream, he discovered that his ability was plundering other powers. He used it to unchain his brother, and for Shunsuke, he used the time leap ability. When he woke up, he was already in the hospital with Tamori on his side. Kumagami also went to the hospital and talked about his brother Shunsuke. They went to the research facility for special abilities, and there he met his brother Shunsuke, whom Tamori also trusted. He also found out that Mitamurik, one of his brother's friends, erased their memories of Ayumi. Shunsuke explained everything to him from the start when he used his time leap ability to go back in time when they were just kids. To save the power wielders, he was with his friend Kumagami, who has an ability to find other power wielders. Shisino, the permeation wielder, Madoki, who has the power of hypnotism, and Mitamori, who can erase a person's memory. All of them have incomplete abilities. Shunsu created a group and repeatedly used his time leap ability, until he lost his sight and built the school to protect power wielders. Kumagami was just soaked in water to protect his identity. Madoki also erased Yu and Ayumi's memories for Shunsuke to move freely. Lastly, Yu discovered that his real ability was to plunder or steal other powers. He plundered the time leap ability of his brother to save Ayumi. Fortunately, Yu successfully plundered the collapse ability of Ayumi. His sister was also saved by the help of the student council. While going home with Ayumi, they met Kumagami and Madoki on the road and they went to Shunsuke. Yu told everything to them from the time that he plundered the time leaped ability of his brother and saved Ayumi. Because Yu was in danger, as he was the powerful power wielder, he needed to stay in the facility. They meet Mr. Tesu Susumachi, the head of the research facility, who was also in Yu's dream. When they were in the laboratory, they realized their power came from Charlotte particles that approach the Earth every 75 years. It's like a disease that will disappear when the adolescent stage ends. They have already developed vaccines to prevent it. Afterwards, when Kumagami would go back to the school to show the next power wielder's location, Mr. Furuki, the organization's driver, would bring him to the wicked foreigners who wanted Yu. As his family was threatened, he was beaten up and became their hostage along with Tamori to take Yu. Shunsuke made a plan to save them by letting Yu go alone. But they were the backups. Yu didn't use the time leap ability to go back as a girl with power also hit his left eye. The whole building collapsed when he was triggered and used the collapse ability. The chaos caused Kamagami's death as he saved Tamori from destruction. The whole organization, especially Shunsuke, mourned Kumagami's death. Yu gradually recovered and decided to plunder all the abilities of all power wielders in the world. The organization supported him as well as Tamori, who promised to become his girlfriend when he returned from his mission. He first plundered the invincibility power of Tamori. Before leaving, Tamori gave him the reference notebook that he could use to be able to communicate with foreigners. Takujo and Yusu with Misa also let Yu plunder their abilities. Misa said her goodbye as she was already satisfied, especially when she met their parents again. Yu lived with uneasy feelings, but with determination. Yu successfully plundered all of the world's power wielders' abilities. Despite becoming exhausted, persecuted, and even feared as the One-Eyed Reaper, he even lost his control and decided to just take all the planet as he was already the most powerful power wielder in the world. However, he saw the reference book that Tamori gave to him and it reminded him of his promise to someone. But he didn't remember who it was. He got hit by the arrow when he tried to plunder the last ability, which was courage. He stole the ability, but became unconscious as the man with the arrow hit him again. Fortunately, Shunsuke and the organization saved him. While in the helicopter, Yu woke up in the hospital with Tamori on his side. Tamori introduced herself as his girlfriend, but he didn't remember her. Yu realized that Mori was the one who gave him the reference book. That in him was like a talisman because he couldn't let it go. In the end, he realized that she was special to him. Tamori would also use his camera to film happy moments instead of the unpleasant ones that she usually does. They would spend their lives creating happy moments and living life with fun things.